Like these chairs. Are we live?
We are live. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And we have another chair here. It's, Captain America-ish.
It's my size.
Yeah. So, wanted to welcome you guys back to the program. Yet another live. We do these on Mondays and Fridays. We at least try to get the Friday one in 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And, see that there's a lot of you guys right now in the chat, even before we start. So that's awesome. That's kind of a really cool feeling to see that you guys come and hang out with us even before we're ready to start. So that's really, really cool. For those of you who are watching with us live today, please comment, put your questions in the chat. That helps drive the program. Of course, I have a little bit to talk about before we really get started with that. But aside from that, I mean, this program is driven by you and your participation. So I'd certainly appreciate that. If you couldn't make it this time, please comment down below and comment to what you see in the program or just any questions you might have. I'll try to get to them. Sometimes I don't get to them right away, but I do make an effort to try to get to most of your questions and comments. Today we have really just wanted to talk about something. I like to peruse the eBay seller forums, and for one, I like to help people when I can, but it also gives me ideas, talking points to talk about, see what the pulse of resellers are out there, what people are talking about. And there's just multiple posts. And I know I've talked about this before, but there's just multiple posts about eBay charging final value fees on sales tax. And not every state charges sales tax. Not every customer you're going to come across is going to be charged sales tax. It's based on the address it's being shipped to, whether or not that location that state has sales tax. And, I remember, was it a couple years ago when there was talk about how the government, they're trying to get more of our money. There's no surprise there. And so they are looking at ways to tax sales online, and eBay was one of the entities. And there was a lot of talk about, oh no, what does that mean? And people were saying, well, that means that if you're a seller online, you're going to have to collect the taxes and remit a payment every quarter to every state that charges sales tax for every sale that you've taken during that quarter. And can you imagine? I think there's like 35 or whatever states out there that charge sales tax. Can you imagine having to do that? Or paying, I think there's a service called TaxJar, paying for that service to do that. So eBay, to simplify it for most sellers, and I could tell you the smallest sellers wouldn't do it. They would quit before they do it. And so eBay decided that they were going to take it on for us. But, with everything good that eBay does, there's always a fee. You guys know that. And so the fee in this case is saying, okay, whether you're just doing the standard final value fees or if you're doing promoted listings, we're going to take everything, the shipping, the price of the item, and the sales tax, and just lump it into one total price. And we're going to charge you a final value fee on that. So, if the sales tax is 8%, you're getting hit with, okay, so the customer, let's say it's a $100 item, they're paying $8 in sales tax. You're getting hit with an additional, let's just say for giggle's sake, it's 15 to 20. Let's say you're using promoted listings, let's say it's 20%. So 20% final value fees on $8. So you're looking at what, $1.60 that you're paying in additional fees for that. So you don't have to actually do it yourself. And for me, it is well worth it. And there's a lot of people that are questioning the legality of it, but I can tell you this, I can assure you this, come from the corporate world, everything that a large company like that does is vetted, extremely vetted through the law department. And they do not put any practice into their terms and conditions unless they have certainty that it is not illegal. Now, of course, there's sometimes people do sue companies when they do things that they're not supposed to do, but I can almost assure you that this has been vetted by that department, and all things are the up and up. Now, by selling on the platform, you are sort of agreeing to play by their rules and to abide by the terms and conditions. So it's either this, guys, and you may not like it. I don't necessarily like it, but I like it more than having to deal with each state. So you either accept the terms and conditions, or you go to another site that doesn't do that to you. And that's just the bottom line. And I'm not a shill for eBay. I see it as it is. There's a lot of times I'm critical to eBay, but this is one of those fees that I don't mind paying because I don't want to bother with that level of accounting and having to deal with that. And I'm sure most people would agree if they saw the alternative. I just don't think a lot of people see that eBay could easily just say, you know what, we're done. We're not going to charge you final value fees anymore on the tax. But guess what? The tax is on you, and you're going to be responsible to take care of all that on your own. And that's less time you have shipping, listing, and doing all kinds of other stuff you should be doing with your business. So that's.
Can you imagine the amount of extra accounting we'd have to do if we didn't have all the things that eBay handles for us?
Yeah, it's let me put it this way. I have a seller's certificate for the state of Nevada, which allows me. So, when you buy stuff to source, you are not the end user. So the taxes need to actually be attached to who's actually ending up with the item. So by having that certificate, I don't have to pay sales taxes on things that I plan on reselling. So because I really don't sell locally, guys. I haven't done that in the longest time. A lot of times I'll end up with zero sales liability because the state wants you to report any sales where you've collected sales tax. Well, eBay does it for me, but I still have to go and report zero every quarter. And that's just a pain in the butt. You forget about it. You're doing other things. And imagine doing that for 35 plus states and then having to spend time with, maybe a spreadsheet or whatever, however you would actually figure it out, and have to supply that information and pay all that money every quarter. It would only be the largest businesses that would be able to make that happen. So to me, I'm happy to pay it. It's not something I have to deal with, and people need to just get past it already. And anyone who questions it and, says, oh, it's fraud, it's this, that, other thing, they just don't understand. And I guess maybe I've spent 5 minutes too long on the topic for those people. But it's just, I keep coming across it, and it just makes me crazy because there's a lot other things that eBay is doing that you can spend your energy protesting. This is not one of those things. I mean, guys, it just really isn't.
You just have to buy better. I mean, you have to make better purchases and set your pricing correctly to make it worth it in the end. Ooh, we have a sale.
No, we don't. We have a question about your Apple Watch. Apparently we didn't unpair it properly when we sold it. So we have to,
yes, I did.
Yeah, we took it off the cloud. We took it off the account, off of the devices, off the phone. But I think there's another step that we're missing there. And so they might be right. So we'll get that cleared up. And then I had another message before we went live. I was selling those little Barbie accessories. I'm selling like a 4-pack. And someone asked me, one of the accessories had a little pair of roller skates, and they asked me if the actual wheels worked. And I'm like, come on, I'm selling the whole thing. It's like $15 for the 4 kits. It's for the 4 accessories. It's like, no. And Barbie doesn't get a skinned up knee when she falls.
It should have come with knee pads if they really did roll.
Right? That wouldn't be right. So, sorry, guys.
Anyway, hello, everyone.
So let's see who we have in the house. We have Biscuit Butt. We have Mike, my buddy Mike Camparelli from New York. Emporium Etc. GT Drew Gannett or Gannett, Jovial Juggler, Aurora 3K, Silver Bushman, Biscuit Butt, Faith, Ricardo I, Savage Pickers, Wanda Greer, No One Design, Fruitsy Farms from North Carolina. Let's see, got quite a few, and we have the great Tommy Bernard podcast in the house. So About 70 people watching. I'm sure there's quite a few of you guys out there. And hopefully we got some new people in the house. If you're new to the program, drop a little comment in the chat. Love to hear from you. So now this is the point in the program where we take your questions and all that. Silver Bushman says 1099 suck it. LOL. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I know eBay is trying to go to a bat for some sellers to increase that number from $600 to like $5,000 to $10,000. But the bottom line still remains. Look, guys, if you're buying stuff to resell and you just make $10, you really should be, our dogs are going crazy behind us.
He thinks it's playtime or something.
No, if you're buying stuff on the platform, to resell with the purpose of reselling, not just selling your old stuff that your Aunt Thelma gave you 2 years ago for Christmas that you never even cared to mess with.
Always use Thelma?
Because I have an Aunt Thelma that it was like a thing. So, I can use a different name if you want.
I was waiting for it.
So anyway, if you're making money, right, it shouldn't matter if you hit a certain threshold or not. You should be reporting it. There's 87,000 agents that will be coming on board in the next, they say, 5 years, over the course of the next. Well, yeah, but they're going to be looking out for that kind of thing. The government is trying to get more of the money. It's the bottom line. And again,
as if they don't get enough.
But what can you do about it? You just have to, it's like listing on eBay. You have to play their game. And if you don't play their game, then there's penalties for it. So don't put yourself into that position. If you're selling stuff that you have at home, then, that's a different thing. You're selling stuff that and even if you're selling stuff and you're just a bad picker, right? Let's say you buy stuff for 10 and you can only move it for 5. Well, guess what? You lost.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay taxes on that.
And we've had some of those, but not like
that. No. But what I'm saying is, if you're selling at a loss and your intention was to make money, well, you didn't make money. You lost money, and that's not taxable. Now, I'm not a CPA. I'm not anything near that, but I can tell you I've done a lot of studying on this, and it's all about, if you're making money. So if let's say you bought a bicycle for yourself 20 years, 30 years ago, and you can now call it vintage, and somehow it gained more value than what you paid for it, even though it's a personal item, you're making money. Technically, if you bought it for 100, you could sell it for 2. You really have to pay taxes on that. So it just boils down to, is it a profitable item or not, regardless. So that's my spiel, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more on that topic as we get into next year. Let's see. Yeah, we had a wonderful Raiders game last night. The football game was absolutely horrible. I am convinced that's why I'm not wearing Raider gear right now. I'm really mad at them.
He's mad at them.
I think they're tanking.
Protesting.
Yeah, we've lost 4 games. Like, we had big leads at half, and nobody loses that bad without it being on purpose.
It's pretty sad when my mom texts me.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Let's see. Looking for some questions. I want to try to keep up with you guys today. You guys really
you
get in front of me.
Talk then.
Fruitsy Farm says they charge my customers sales tax and they're not supposed to. So what do you mean by that? Are they shipping it to a state where there's no sales tax and they're still charging you for that? Because if that's the case, then that shouldn't happen. But let's say Aunt Thelma's buying your item and she's shipping it to, let's say, New York, where they have sales tax. Then, maybe in her state, they don't pay sales tax for anything she buys, but the end users in New York, that's where you're shipping it to. And that's where that's how it's determined. Jovia Juggler says that color sweatshirt works for you.
Thank you.
Of course, I guess red doesn't work for me, right? But
of course
you're the star of the show, honey.
No.
Yeah, you are.
No.
I guarantee you, these guys will beg to differ. So, and I beg to differ. So, Silver Bushman says, not right. Look at original eBay as used items. End of story. Tax free. The used items, correct. And let's clean out my garage. Let's clean out my attic. That kind of thing. And normally, you're not going to get what you paid for at retail. You're just not. Now, sometimes you will get like collectible items or collector's items that has gained value. It's been sitting in your basement or your attic for many, many years. You're going to make money on that. And that's a different story. And I'm not really, it doesn't matter how I think or what I say about it. Unfortunately, this is reality. And I guess what I'm saying is we can waste a lot of time saying this shouldn't be or that shouldn't be, when we should be maybe focusing more on things that we can control and just say, you know what, it is what it is. There's a lot of things in this world I'm sure you would change if you could. Unfortunately,
I got a list.
but you can't. So what do? You just say, you know what, you write it off as one of those things you just can't stand, and you just deal with it, right? And that's kind of the message. Instead of posting stuff and wasting a lot of positive energy on negative stuff you can't change, maybe put that same focus into your business.
My mom always said, actually, it was more my grandma, don't sweat the small stuff.
Well, and on a per transaction basis, I guess it is a small thing because, your customer, they're paying a tax. Now, I know that sometimes can lead to buyers who maybe accept your offer and they end up not paying because they think, well, you offered me 20 and it's telling me to pay 22, and they never pay because it's not the price. But unfortunately, we have nothing to do with sales tax. And what kills me is if you ever piggyback off of a listing, like do a sell similar, there's a number of sellers out there who will put in their item specifics like 100% satisfaction guarantee and no tax. And I'm wondering, how the hell can they say that? So I don't know, maybe they just adjust it out or anything, but I just think that's horrible. And then when you piggyback off that listing, if you're not careful, it'll get stuck in one of your listings, and then the buyer will try to hold you to it. I've had that happen once. Ed is in the house. How you doing, Ed? Tommy says reselling is over, the world is ending. We have to pay taxes and fees. Yeah, you got to source so you can build that into what you make. Mike says, nice chair, Jenna. I thought that you were Wonder Woman. Now I'm sure. That's awesome. Let's see.
Thanks, Mike.
No One Design says, I've heard news about Congress trying to amend the $600 tax for online sales. Not sure if that'll pass, but got until next week before them idiots goes on vacation for the 12th time.
For the 12th time. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but they'll get that vote in to increase their pay, though. I'm sure they'll do that. Blithering Rando, hey, I made it for the first start for the first time. Awesome. Yay! Thanks for making it. Silver Bushman says, top seller, 1-day handling, 30-day return policies. Fees are 10%. That's the top rated seller plus. And you got to do that. Wanda wants you to smile. You're not smiling.
That's why when you were talking in the beginning, I saw that, and so I smiled.
Ed says, I accept the terms and conditions. I'll play eBay's rules because they make me money. These dogs are.
I'm sorry. They think it's playtime.
They need to go outside.
I left the back door open so they could go out.
Okay, well.
So.
Bernie Higgins says, so eBay told me the Top Seller Plus program was an invite only. Like, really? Wow.
Please.
No. And
anybody can get Top Seller.
Well, that's Top Seller Plus.
Sorry.
Anyone can get if you set up your listings properly, but I'm willing to bet that's probably someone from the Philippines who told you that. They have a way of winging their answers. Purple Cactus Sales has made it to the live. Thank you for making it to the live. Savage Pickers, I'm glad they do that for us with the taxes.
I agree.
Fruitsy Farms says, oh my God, it would be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to.
I mean, I would be in a world of.
I don't think you would. You'd make me do it.
No, you. He would pass the buck so quickly.
Okay, your
new job is.
Biscuit Butt Fizz says, fees, smees, it boils down to the buy. Be better at buying low than fees are insignificant. Tommy says, it's not invite only at a monkey with one leg and one arm can be top rated plus. Plus, there is a glitch on shipping edit for a single listing after creating a listing. And when you pick a shipping policy, if you want to change the cost of shipping for that listing, you can't. There's another glitch that I came across today. I had listed an item and I was going back to edit some of the items that I listed like an hour before. And there was an item that had no photos. eBay allowed a listing to go through to launch without any photos. I don't know how it launched. I don't remember trying to launch that listing, but I had to go back and add the photos. But I've never seen that before. They usually catch that. Silver Bushman says, do you recommend paying someone else to do your taxes? If
you have no clue.
I've been doing my taxes for years. I've been doing my taxes for years. And if you want even more fun, try doing, and I'll have to do it this year. Try moving mid-year and then trying to claim, okay, I've got this much space in my house that I'm using as my office. And then my next place, I have a different square footage. That was fun. And it got to the point where I couldn't even submit my tax return because it kept screwing up the Schedule C. So I forgot exactly how I'm going to have to do it, but I know there's something screwed up about that took me an extra 2 hours to do. So if you don't want to mess with all that, then yes, I would say to do that. Otherwise,
and they can give you tips and tell you things that you can write off that you wouldn't have known otherwise, maybe. You know?
Let's see. Flipping Goody says, Tommy and I am overqualified. We'll look into taking the arm off next week. Let's see.
If not for Tommy, eBay wouldn't exist.
Oh, wow. Silver Bushman says, I made $4,000 in profits in 3 weeks this month. That's awesome. What kind of item do you sell? $1,200 in fees. Of course, eBay is going to get theirs. Tells me you have some pretty high promoted rates there. Great new gaming chair, Jenna. Glad to see you upgraded. Well, so it's
not an upgrade. It's just a borrow because he's not here.
He's not here, and he doesn't really use it anyway.
He uses it more for storing his clothes.
Jenna's in the coolest Captain America chair. Sawtooth Outpost. eBay shows my yearly selling costs at 25% of my total sales. Curious what everyone else is. Of course, this doesn't include cost of goods, etc., but I'm interested to see. I wish I had that number for you. I haven't looked at those reports, but I'm sure mine's probably closer to about 20% because, some items get promoted at 4 or 5%. Some get promoted like closer to 10. So it just really depends on where you're at.
There was one that I did the other day and it wasn't promoted. So when I was doing the listings, I went in and promoted it, and it said that it was it started off at like 12.1 or something. I was like, no.
Ed is saying, aren't eBay fees and platform fees deductible? Okay, think of it like this. Anything that comes out of pocket as an expense to run your business is something you can write off against the earnings of your business. Let's say someone scams you. Okay, let's say someone scams you. They buy a $200 item and they decide that they are going to do a chargeback on that. Okay, well, guess what? That $200 is something that you can. It's not the $200; it's the cost of goods on the item that you can write off. You're not going to be liable for the $200 that you earned because that money is coming back. But everything that you spend or incur as an expense is going to be something that at the end of the day is going to be able to be deducted as part of your operating expenses. eBay fees, shipping, cost of goods,
gas.
Yeah. Well,
to go pick up your
goods. Well, I do it. I have an app that figures in my mileage. So you can't do both.
You can't do both, but you can do one or the other.
But I think what is like 63 cents a mile or something like that. So
whichever one is better.
Yeah. And so if I go to yard sales, it's keeping track. This app keeps track, and it'll show me where I drove, and I'll say, okay, that was personal or business based on my recollection. Do that all throughout the year, and I think I'm at like $1,400 in based on the mileage that I've accrued. So it's pretty good. Let's see here. Kenny, New York City 1 says, eBay claims anything sold above a certain price must be signed for. Is this true, or does it only apply if you pay for the service? I live in New York City, and they just leave it on the steps. Okay, so there's no actual requirement that you ship anything that has a signature, but if you want to be protected, then you definitely need to have that signature. And I would even add insurance to that. My threshold is $200. So if it's over $200, I'm going to have them sign for it, and I'm going to insure it. So it's a gamble I'm taking. I know eBay priority mail labels will insure you, I believe, up to $100 in value, but it's just a gamble. How many times do we even deal with insurance claims? Maybe once a year for a non-receipt.
Yeah.
So it's a gamble, but just to be on the safe side, the way things work, you can ship thousands of items in a year, and it's that one item that costs you, like a $400 sale that doesn't show up or shows up broken, and then you have no insurance on it. Let's see.
Scroll.
I know. I just got to get there.
I thought you were going to keep up today.
I am. Let's see. Wanda says, does the block buyer list include sellers too? I have a seller I do not want to buy from again, other than keeping a notebook. Add this to my BBL. Would that stop me from? No, it doesn't stop you from buying. It'll prevent them from buying from you, because there's a lot of sellers who use their seller's account to buy stuff. And, you just gotta, I don't know, just remember, I guess. That's a tough one.
Just keep your list going.
Anytime Picker says that's why Tommy will move to Mexico, since thresholds there for eBay is 100,000 to pay taxes. Isn't that 100,000 like pesos? I'm not sure. That might not be dollars. Lynn Marie says, what about shipping and ad fees? Can't that be every expense? So if you can even write off like 50% of your meals incurred while you're away. Let's say you're on a trip to go sourcing somewhere. That type of thing. And now, of course, you have to justify it. You have your receipts and all that stuff. Can't just say, okay, I'm hungry.
John's really good at bringing up eBay when we're having dinner somewhere.
Well, no, but I have this little thing. So anytime I have paper receipts, because sometimes there's a lot there. Some are Goodwill and some are Sabres and things like that. You just keep that there, and just make sure you log it. That kind of thing. But yeah, every expense you incur. So that's just it. You're running a business, and sometimes it sucks that, oh man, I got to pay extra fees, or I got to pay this, or I got to do that. But you shouldn't think that way. You just think of it as just the cost of doing business. And a lot of people hate me saying that, but that's just the truth. Purple Cactus sales, you have to pay taxes, have always been in self-employees. Remember, expenses are deductible from profit. Read up on it and get an accountant. So profit is what you make after all the crap is deducted, right? Mm-hmm. After all the cost of goods, expenses, your mileage, your when you're doing your taxes at the end of the year, the space that you're writing off in your home, if you have a dedicated space to work in, some of your your utilities, like a certain percentage of that and stuff. I mean, it gets really down into detail when you're doing your taxes, but you'll be surprised, how little profit one can make.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised, because John will say, oh, we made such and such this year, but that's not with all the
you see a lot of
that goes along with it.
Yeah,
because then I'll be like, well, we only made whatever, and it sounds like we're not making anything, but in reality we did, because we still profited. We were in the positive, but it does suck to have to do all that.
Splurge says, I'm selling books. Can I offer free 30-day returns, or will those get returned a lot? No, you would probably do better in search if you offered free 30-day returns. Yeah. The average return rate, I think, for most categories is like 2 to 3%. For most categories, some are higher, some are lower. So that's not a whole lot. Just think of it in terms of, you sell 100 books, that's like 3 people returning their stuff back. So I think sometimes, I have like 3 returns that are in process right now. And, it sucks when you get that message saying the person wants to return your item. You almost feel like you know, like, man, I feel bad. Did I do something wrong? Or, you know, did I miss something? But unfortunately, it's just the business. And even if you did nothing wrong, people will make up reasons to return your item just because they want to return your item and not have to pay for the label.
Lie to the moon.
They will, but I mean, it's only a small percentage of buyers.
Yeah.
It's like 2 to 3% of people will want to return your item if you're doing everything properly. Now, if you're doing stuff shady, if you're not putting all the blemishes in your listing on the item, if you're omitting certain things, you're thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll say it's new when it looks really good, but it's not new. People sniff that stuff out, and that's a big way to up your return percentages if you're not giving a very clear and true representation of the item itself. Gail says, my problem with the sales tax is that they tax used items that have been already taxed. Yeah, I mean, you get taxed. I believe you get taxed at Goodwill. They didn't pay a thing for that, but it's already been sold once, brand new, and then they get it donated, and then you go in and you have to pay taxes on that. It's the way it works everywhere. Let's see. Kenny, New York City. I'm thinking not. That's what I was confused about. Thought they automatically do that. Faith says, after your layaway video, I changed my settings so if someone's order was canceled because of non-payment in the last 6 months, they can't buy from me. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. I just go right in and I just add that buyer to my block buyer list. And I know some people who will even go in and block the buyer if they return an item. And they just don't want to deal with sketchy people who'll,
I mean, that would make sense if it was a bad deal, like they lied about the return or whatever. Yeah, I get that. But I mean, if it was because you did something wrong, I don't see why you would block them.
Purple Cactus Sale says, what do you do if a eBay return comes back broken? Now, really depends on the situation. Now, did they report it to you as like, I'm returning it because it's broken? I mean, you can't do anything about that. I mean, obviously, if they're taking photos and showing you that it's broken, maybe it happened in transit. I mean, maybe it's a swap out. Maybe if you can determine it was not the same one and they're trying to claim it was broken. But you have to use your best determination when you get the item back. If it's just broken, and a lot of times these buyers, they won't bother. They'll just throw it back in the box you sent it in. They won't even bother to try to wrap it again or just protect it. And that's on them. I've had that happen where something came back broken and they're only getting 50%, guys. Going to use that that refund tool, and they're not getting their original shipping back, and they're not getting but 50%, and only because I have to give them 50% back. Yeah. Is that happening? And then, of course, you want to justify it in the little box they give you as to why you're not giving them a full refund, and you want to maybe take some photos of the damage so that when they call eBay, because most of those people, as soon as you deduct that money, they're going to call eBay to complain, why aren't they giving me a full refund? It makes you look better as a seller. I mean, eBay is going to side with the buyer. Let's just be honest. 9 times out of 10, the buyer's going to call eBay, and eBay is going to say, yeah, you know what? We're just going to give you the difference back. And, and people think that's cool, right? But unfortunately, maybe that didn't come out of your funds, but it comes out of the collective. And eBay doesn't give money away for free. They find ways to feed their buyers or their sellers. And we're all paying for that. Mm-hmm. Aurora 3K, I cannot be top rated or top rated plus because eBay does not recognize my shipping carrier. Caneo? What is that? Caneo? Is that like your neighbor? Does he have a van?
What country are you in?
I don't know. It sounds like he's just giving his neighbor Caneo the packages and he's running. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. Let me know what
he turns everything into a joke.
It's not a joke. I'm just curious what that is. I've never heard of that before.
Caneo, you've got to be in some.
I noticed that USPS on eBay has started charging me for wrong measurements, or if it was under what the measurements I put. Anyone else, I'm stop using them. I haven't really had that issue with them. I know that FedEx has been an issue.
Notorious for that.
I know every once in a while you might get a nasty gram like saying we're going to take back $2 because you underweighed your item, that type of thing. And there's really not a whole lot you can do about it, unfortunately.
What we do is we add an inch to every, we go over by an inch on every dimension. So, I mean, that cut down on our fees for sure.
Let's see. T-Town Trekkers in the house. Barely made it. Love the new chair. It's not really new, but we're just using
They
it.
don't know
It's
that.
just not squeaky like the other one.
It's not squeaky, and it's actually, I feel like it's like tilting forward. So if you see me like going like this, I feel like I'm on one of those rides that I have to hold on real tight.
If you're using a prepaid phone, you might be able to deduct your phone call to eBay for all those third world agents out there in the Philippines that waste your time. If you're running up your minutes, I mean, who does that anymore? Do people actually use those kind of prepaid phones where they? I guess
they
maybe
would be still selling them.
I don't know if they do or not.
Well,
when
yeah,
was the last time you bought one?
That was.
Is it something I need to know?
No.
Okay.
The phone's right here. You can look at it.
No, I'm not talking about that phone. I'm talking about your burner phone.
No. No.
Tommy says, I call 911 instead of eBay support. I just keep telling them the world is ending and reselling is over. And they probably say, I'm a reseller too. Mm-hmm. Says, Tommy, they'll send an ambulance to your house and take all the shoes away. They take all my shoes, I'll quit. I mean, I got more shoes, guys. You guys saw the video.
Tommy, how many shoes do you have? How many? Tell me.
Let's see.
No one design keeps talking, but
I know. I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up. I'll just get there here. Let's see.
Sorry.
Splurge says, silly questions. You file eBay taxes like regular taxes at the end of the year. And if you're not registered as a business, you can still deduct. Yes. It's just you could be a sole proprietor. Or sole provider? Provider? A sole proprietor, and you're just running your business without like an LLC or anything like that. Did things work out with the garage sale lady, shoe lady? Well, she sent me a message. Now this lady, she's easily in her 70s.
Yeah,
and
she's older.
I mean, she's probably just learned the cell phone thing, right? And so she'll send a message and then she'll immediately respond to your reply, and then you'll reply to that to like confirm, like I was trying to confirm what time tomorrow am I going to meet you, and nothing. So I don't know. I hope she'll get back to me.
She even texted John one time thinking that he was somebody else.
No, that was her sister.
Oh, that was
her niece. Yeah, that was her niece.
This is a huge family. Okay, so we had to talk about this. So when he put this video out, all these shoes, all these toys, and just all of the merchandise that they have a very large family. So there's grandkids, children, nieces, nephews, brothers, cousins, aunts. They're just living out of multiple houses, but they hoard a lot in this house that we went to. And I'm telling you, you cannot see inside of the garage all the way through to the back. It's incredible.
Yeah. Archie and I are going to go down there tomorrow whenever she's, having us go down there. But, I keep asking her, look, get these Jordans, get them down. I want to package this whole thing up. So I want the Jordans she keeps talking about her sister having, and I guess someone in the family had passed away, or her son's father passed away. And so she's like dealing with that, and whatever. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, if I buy nothing more from her, hey, it worked. It's so far so good. I mean, we went and bought easily. I mean, you guys, if you saw the video, it's at least 70, 80 pairs. I gave her $120, and most of them are really good condition. Speaking of shoes, and I just picked this stuff up. And I'm not sponsoring this stuff by any means,
sponsored, but we'd like to.
Well, this is the short bald guy stuff. It's his stuff,
honey.
I just want to make reference to those of you who remember the conversation on Monday. It's the shoe dock, the foam zone, the FZ 150 or whatever.
A little higher.
No, whatever. and it's this foamy stuff. And I went and got the whole kit, and it comes with like the 2 brushes, the towels, the little foam, uh, the whitening foam or whatever you put on the shoe, like the polish.
sole.
It's kind of like a polish. And this is okay. It's better than most of the stuff that we use, but I find that while it does a pretty good job, I'm still using, like on the soles and the midsoles of the shoe, I'm still using some of the orange goof off to get some of
Are
that.
you getting
black
real, like how that guy did it? How
Yes.
you're getting real down in
Yeah, he
there and
gets
just
real
don't
aggressive
care?
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they, you know, a lot of these commercials make it seem like, wow, it's like you got it real clean. I think there's some fudging going on with that. Maybe he just dipped it in some mud and it's fresh. I don't know, but
Yeah, because these shoes, they've got some wear and tear on
Yeah.
them. Some of them are just not even cleanable.
it lathers really good. So you know, you're getting little action from the suds and stuff in the shoe.
Action from
It
the
is,
suds.
yeah, you get a little sud action going on. Let's see here. Anytime Picker says IRS agents also watch reseller YouTube videos and calculate what each reseller makes per year. Well, I've already
Is there something else you want to tell us, Anytime Picker?
Well,
are you IRS?
I don't have to worry about that because I report my 1099s that I receive on my taxes. So it is what it is. Anyone can go on and see pretty much what I make all year, just what I make, but not my expenses. Because it's really difficult, if impossible, to know what someone spends on promoted listing rates or things like that. Michael Biddle said, "Hey, this is Mike from St. George. I had a pretty good week. Found a college textbook for $5, sold it for $40 within 24 hours." Yes, textbooks are definitely something you can buy and flip.
We have a couple of them in our store.
Kenny, New York City 1 says, "Is it safer for books like graded comics selling over $5,000 to let eBay handle shipping label or send it registered mail through USPS?" Well, I mean, you could. I would say buy your label through eBay, but there's a drop down that'll give you all the options, like the insurance, the signature requirement, and then just go that route. I wouldn't really go any further than that. If you go straight to USPS, you're going to be paying through the nose for retail, so you don't want to do that. Random Florida Adventure says Goodwill is becoming a scam. Sale of $6.99 for used clothing makes me angry because people really need it. Yeah, yes. I mean, my thing is this: look, resellers are going to go to Goodwill. They're going to find an item and say $6.99. Okay, well, I wish it was $2, but can I make money off of this? And they're going to say, okay, this thing sells for 40 or 50 at $6.99. There's still a profit there, so they're still going to pick it up. So it's not hurting the resellers. It's hurting the people
hurting the people that, like, when we went to the Goodwill bins downtown.
No, it's at the other side of South Vegas.
Well, South Vegas. Okay. So anyway, there's homeless people. There are people that are in great need of jackets and shoes and these things, and they're pricing them way too high for anybody in a position to be able to afford even Goodwill.
Well, it's like too extreme. So they go from $6.99, okay, and the thing sits on the rack and doesn't sell over a period of time. So then they'll pull it off the rack and they'll send it to the bins at $1.69 a pound. So my thing is, why don't you just keep it in-house, that $6.99 item, put it on a clearance rack on the other side of the store or whatever, 99 cents. It's just been sitting there.
But it shouldn't be priced that high anyway if they have to do such a thing.
No,
is what I think.
I don't go to Goodwill, really.
Goodwill it rubs me the wrong way because they don't.
But the argument that people are going to make, and I agree with this argument, is they use the money to do a lot of good things for people. So I agree with that. You know, it's Salvation Army, Goodwill, organizations like that. They do a lot for society. I just wish that they kept in mind that there are people out there that don't resell and would really need these items at a lower, more affordable price.
Right.
And
I agree with you. I don't see that that's a bad thing. I mean, there are programs that Goodwill and Salvation Army run where they help people who, need to go to rehab or whatever. That's great. And I'm all for that because rehab is not cheap. And I know that, it's benefiting a lot of people. However, their prices just start out way too high.
Right. But we can agree that there is rehab before reselling, right?
Well, yes.
Okay. So before online reselling was a thing, and before Goodwill kept trying, or continues to try to keep up with resellers and that market, they were still able to support different things in their community,
right,
with the low prices that they offered. So and again, if they want to start off at $6.99 and then drop those prices to $2 or $1 in store, rather than go the other extreme and pretty much give it away in the Goodwill bins. And I can tell you, there's not, maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't see too many people that looked like they were shopping for themselves at the Goodwill bins. These people were like looking for ways to make money.
There was only a few. There was a woman that I talked to, and she was buying for herself and her children and her grandchildren. She was an older woman, and she said she was complaining about the people coming in and doing the reselling. I didn't say a word because I was standing there just holding on to the cart. But she was complaining that all these people come in here and they swoop in on everything, all of these things.
But I think that's what it is. They're swooping in and they're running over people. Yes. And it's like they make people stand behind a yellow line, and they're like children. Crazy. Like, we're not going to allow you to go to those bins until everyone's behind the yellow. You feel like you're in grade school. Like and these are adults. And, it's like, why can't we I know we're trying to get an item, maybe we see across the room in a bin, but you know what? If there's an old lady, don't run her over. I mean, come on. One lady got hit square in the back with a piece of furniture.
I got hit with a cart. One woman shoved the cart right into my side, into my ribs. And I had to really keep my composure, but she was a thrifter, and you could tell she was going after one particular thing. And she just pushed my cart because I'd never been to this thing before. I don't know how this goes, but she just shoved the cart right into my ribs. And I was about to go off, but then I was like, I don't want to get kicked out of Goodwill and end up on Fox 5.
Let's see. Random Florida Adventures. Goodwill has been a scam for a while. They just care about their business, getting free stuff and jacking up prices on damaged crap. Yeah, a lot of that stuff is really just damaged. Mm-hmm. It's broken. And there's, when I was going to Goodwill, I would be like, okay, these items here, they've been here forever, and of course there's no money to be made on this. Will you guys consider taking, they won't even take offers on stuff. So I don't know. I just stopped going because there's a lot of stuff. Like if you buy, I like electronics. I used to buy the electronics.
Go in there with gloves.
Well, that's the bins. I mean, you can get cut, it's all kinds of stuff. So, okay. Lisa says Alibaba Group owns Kano, but what is Kano? I mean, what country is that in?
Well, maybe we missed it.
Maybe I missed it. I'm trying to catch up to your chat here. So, Tommy says, and I don't know what this is a response to. I probably have 2,300-ish in back stock, maybe, just a guess based on shelf space. You're referring to all your shoes? Wow.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to catch up to you. I'm gonna up my game and get to 2,300 when I get a chance.
Hire 5 people.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up. I have at least now 700 to 800 pairs that are sitting in tubs. You guys saw that, so I'm gonna.
He came home the other night from this lady's house, and he just walked in with this face, and didn't say a word. And I was like, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
He's all, "I haven't done it yet."
Well, that's the garage.
But come help me get the stuff out of the car.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, that's all the shoes. So Thankfully, I organized that area, and it didn't really seem like I added a whole lot, but I added at least 4 huge tubs of shoes that basically fit into my SUV. It fit all the way into my car, and I don't think if I had another tub, I would have to make another trip. So I'm happy to have it. It's about getting stuff up. I think now, unfortunately, even with the sales that I have, I'm up over 700 listings again. Um, and Jenna's like, "Good job, honey." And I'm like, "Not really. I mean, I don't want to build a big store, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop listing either."
I don't think that, no, we don't want a big store, but we have to keep replenishing what is sold. So eventually that 700 is going to, continue to waver up and down,
Jovial Juggler says, "Experienced garage sale shoe lady is waiting for you to bite the hook. Seems as though those tubs have been picked over more than once. Don't think this is her first rodeo." But I think she showed me tubs that she didn't even put out yet.
Yeah.
That she's like, "Yeah, I got these vintage Barbies. Look at these Barbies." And then so I'll go and the first time I saw them, I'm like, "Oh, let me look one up." So I look one up, and the comps are like $15. And I showed it to her on one of these Barbies. She's like, "Oh, let me have that." She put it back in the tub, and it's like, there's money to be made on these things, but it's not the gold mine that she thought it was.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of breaking it to her that, this is going to take some work to even move. And, you got some stuff in there. Like she had a Gronkowski, a Funko Pop, Tom Brady, and I think there's like $20 a piece. I mean, and they're in the box and everything. She had a lot of loose stuff.
Of dolls, and John keeps calling them porcelain dolls, but they don't look porcelain to me. They look plastic.
But then
I said to him, "Did you knock on the face?"
I did, but at the same time, they had like certificates of authenticity. I'm telling you right now, I wasn't all that thrilled. I'm not thrilled with selling dolls. I'll just tell you that right now. I just I'm not a fan. I mean, I just never have been a fan of dolls. But
I hope
that
not.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a thing until I was about 12.
Stop for yourself.
So, sorry. No, but it's just we're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna see what they got.
Doing his job.
Well, we got Archie and Ed. Oh, we got some.
Only Archie is.
Oh, only Archie is here?
Yeah.
We got some.
I don't know. Wait.
Perverts in the house again?
No, but
the people that like to leave porn links in the chat, and then they think that they're going to trick some reseller into clicking on the link.
I don't see a thing on Ed's name.
I don't know. I'm looking at StreamYard, so you guys are totally on YouTube, and I don't see the. Really? Yeah, I see that. Well, maybe I'll check it again. So, T-Town Trekker says, "I may have missed it, John, but did you close that deal? Can't wait for the unboxing vid." Didn't close the deal. I'm probably going to wear my GoPro on Saturday when we go and sort through this stuff, so you guys can see what it is, whether or not we buy it or not. At least we'll give you guys some kind of closure on what it was, and we'll see.
There he is.
Okay. Let's see. Biscuit Butt wants to know, Tommy, at what number is it considered a death pile? I would say it has a lot to do. It's relative to how many you're able to list, really, right? Because you can call what I have a death pile. I haven't really listed it, but I've been waiting on this, the short bald guy stuff to come in the mail. And so I'm really eager. I've tried it on a few pairs of shoes. It works okay, but you got to use the goof off to get the stubborn stuff off of there. Make Money Unlimited says, "Last month I had a buy request refund of 99-cent purchase with $3 shipping. After I emailed to confirm shipping date, the buyer waited for the item and claimed not to receive it." Okay, but the tracking backed you up, right? I mean, it's 99 cents, but at the end of the day, they're going to open an item not received case, and you're just going to upload the tracking number that eBay already had, and that should be sufficient. Blithering Rando says, "I want to see what was in the Magic the Gathering box in that garage." Yeah, I didn't really go into it a lot. I mean, there's a lot of the large, like loose figurines, like the Steve Austin, the Power Rangers. She had a Finn Star Wars like doll, and I just don't know the value there. I mean, I guess I can go through the video like someone had said, to go through the video and maybe get an idea
Just
of what
get
the
an
comps are.
idea of what the comps are. I mean,
But there's just so much stuff that we can't see
but
that's in the
there's
garage.
so much. Yes, exactly. There is so much stuff piled on top of everything that who knows what's in there. And like somebody had commented on the video that you just put up, we need to make I want to put everything in the driveways and make sure that there are no scorpions
or the little roachy
or
things.
any kind of bug for that matter. But we have found scorpions in the bottoms of totes.
Yeah, you want to see me dance?
You want to see him dance? That's what'll do it.
No One Design says, in Soviet Russia, you don't have a death pile. You have the death pile. Have you? I did that wrong. I have a bad Russian accent.
Where are you from?
Biscuit Butt says, just take a pair of shoes a day to the guys in the mall and get them cleaned for the demo, then walk away. But they'll only do one shoe.
They'll only do one shoe.
And like, hey, let me do one shoe, and then they'll do one shoe, and you're like,
and
okay,
they make you buy it.
What about the other one? Well, no, you got to buy that from me. So that's how they get you.
That would take a really long time.
Anytime Picker says that Tommy would be selling in Soviet Russia, Tommy would be selling alcohol or vodka on eBay. Juganet says, buy right based on the fees and taxes and costs, and it doesn't matter. Find a product or products that fit your product margin, then profit margin, then it doesn't matter what eBay charges. Can't change that or taxes. So, most things you can buy for $1 are, unless you're at the Dollar Tree, okay, are going to make you money. And, I'm trying to be into items for less than $5. That's my mindset. Now, if I find an item that's going to cost me 10 or 20, and I can see the comps that have multiple solds that are going to make me over $100, I'm good with that. And you just got to get into that mindset, use the comps, figure out the number of sales. If you find one item that sold at $100 and a bunch of others, the same ones that sold for 20, then you probably shouldn't do that. And Jenna's reading ahead.
Yes,
so
I am.
okay. Anytime Picker says he's right. Regular shoppers who are not resellers can't even buy stuff for themselves because Goodwill jacked up the prices. Sandra Hauer, it was an excellent week. My best Hoyer. Damn it. It was an excellent week. My best in the last 4 months. No rhyme or rhythm or reason.
No
it's
rhythm
supposed to be rhyme though. Did nothing new. Just kept changing along as usual. Good. It's supposed to be good right now for you. I mean, for me, I had a couple decent days at the beginning of the week, and it's just kind of sad.
In the last 3 years, this is probably our worst December ever.
Tommy says Goodwill isn't in business to sell stuff cheap to needy people. Read their mission statement is to provide jobs to the community that comes with a price.
Right,
yeah,
but with the amount of free items that they get, they can afford to keep their prices.
But low. okay, and I'm not against that. I'm saying, look, if you can't sell that $6.99 item, then instead of going to the extreme of just pretty much giving it away, and you're talking, there's stuff that gets into those bins that are Carhartt, Nike, Adidas. Put those things in a clearance rack for $1, $1.99, and people would appreciate that. Kenny, New York City one. My Goodwill in my area keeps all the good stuff that costs money for themselves, charge high prices on the items they sell, kind of like Goodwill for themselves. That's unfortunate, unfortunately. Dollar General and Walmart have $1 close all day, every day, no excuses. Yeah.
Walmart.
Well, I don't know about Walmart.
Not Walmart.
Dollar Tree, though?
Is it no, it's Dollar General,
not
Dollar Tree.
Okay.
Dollar General does. I've seen like baby clothes.
They only need a pair of shoes, Tommy, and they will turn their life around. So I think Tommy should donate some of those shoes. Just have a big sign at a yard sale. Just
Tommy's
put
gonna
free
come
shoes.
And kick your butt.
Blithering Rando says, I'm open and blatant about being a reseller, but I'm polite. I'll make money without fighting for items.
Yes.
And it is an uncomfortable thing. You know, like you're at a yard sale and someone's like, well, why do you need all these shoes? Or like they'll think, well, that's not your size. And okay, well, how do you know I'm not
How do
buying for
you
someone
know
else?
I wasn't buying for one of my kids?
Or like looking up the comps, saying, let me check with my wife and see if she liked these. And I'm actually looking on the comps, right?
Better Fox 5 than CNN. That's a fact.
I will not go there. Eddie Estrada says, yeah, that's why I stopped going to the bins years ago. They were jumping on top of the bins and swiping things when employees weren't looking. I got screamed at for recording in there. And it's like, you can't do that. And even customers were like, he's recording.
Yeah,
it's like, what in the heck,
I mean,
Karen?
I get places have their rules, but what is it that you're trying to keep off of other people's faces, or protection of their own, people, or what? I don't understand.
Yeah. And T-Town Trekker, it's greed. They're being rude and greedy at the bins. Goodwill absolutely knows who's there shopping. I guarantee you one thing. If you had no resellers, there would be people there, but it wouldn't be anywhere near the number.
Anywhere near the sales.
And it wouldn't be as crazy. It wouldn't be as like cutthroat as it is right now. Just people like pushing you out of the way, running, and it's nuts. Blithering Rando says, I swear when I buy stuff at Goodwill, they get pissed that they missed something to overprice. Anytime Picker, recent trend was Amazon bin stores opening all over the country with flat pricing system by different days. That's still a thing. That's why you can't find Amazon liquidation, the smalls at least, as much as you used to. Tommy says you will do away with tubs soon. They take up too much room. 10 by 8 by 36 boxes can fit 500 pairs on a shelf, bagged and skewed. No more digging in tubs and wasting time. Now, when you say that, I'm talking about, look, on this side of my garage, I have all the unlisted stuff. So I have the huge tubs. And now I have my racks. And most of the racks will hold one of those clear tubs with the black top that folds out. Oops, that folds out.
Yeah, but with some of those shoes, you can't fit but maybe 8.
I get 2 of those tubs on a shelf. And so there's nowhere. No, you get more than 8, like 10 to 12.
Not with those big ones.
Yeah, so we have some big ones, but
there's somewhere these people's feet were giant.
I'd love to know how you do that, though.
Well, he just told you.
Well, I'd like to see it. I don't want to just think it. I want to see it.
Tommy, send him a picture.
Yeah, hit me up on IG and just send me some photos. I want to know what you do. Anytime Picker, those bin stores will soon have some amount of stores as Goodwills. They're all over the place. More on the East Coast than they are on the West Coast. I mean, we really don't have a bin store. We don't have them a bin not a good store one
here.
There's that Russian lady with like some missing teeth.
That is a whole different situation.
Archie and I went there. She's operating out of what used to be like a garage to like fix cars. And I think I told you guys a story where she has these mystery boxes and they're all priced different. And you're like, well, how do you know what to charge for each box?
Yeah,
and she says,
shady.
I have my ways. And I was like, okay, we're moving on here.
They want you to stay away from the accents.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
You're allowed.
I'm not very good.
No. They didn't say that, but
I'm kind of Teddy KGB in it.
They were talking about your Russian accent.
It's getting better. Okay.
Gotta practice.
Bought 10 new Coach purses still in bags on Goodwill online. It was a great purchase. I love the Goodwill auction. That's online. They have an online auction, and it's probably a lot like Whatnot in that you could probably get on there and get some stuff to resell because there's just not a whole lot of action. And like on Whatnot, you get a lot of resellers that get on there and they buy it at a low price. I don't know. I still have not made the move to go to Whatnot for anything because I just rather list it on eBay. T-Town Trekker 98 watching and 9 likes. Come on, guys, click over and give them a thumbs up. Is it really that sad?
It's
90. Is that 90 people? What about the likes though? Can you see it?
Oh, hold on. I have to close it.
That kind of sucks. You make flipping look easy, my man. Well, it ain't easy. Trust me, it ain't easy.
38 now.
And I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
And girls, let's go.
Besides bins, where's a good place to source new tag clothing? Like, what's a decent website? I'll give you a source for liquidation that you can go on to Macy'sliquidation.com. You got to sign up. You got to show them usually a seller's certificate, a reseller's certificate. and they'll sell you shelf pulls for Macy's. We've done that before. Maybe like the tag will say, it's like a $90 like shirt or whatever, and you can, pick it up for cost average of about $6 or $7. Aunt White says, in January, I'm getting a truck and going to start bidding on storage units. I can't bring myself to buy liquidation pallets. That stuff just doesn't fit in my store. My only problem with buying storage units, and Archie will tell you this, is just the randomness. So, just talking to him about this potential buy tomorrow, it's like, think of it as a storage unit. You have a better idea of what you're getting at least. What the freaking hell was, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe that was my accent you're talking about. Sounded like a Russia corgi drunk on shoes. Your Russian accent sounded like a bad Chinese accent.
That's what I was
I do
talking
Chinese
about.
better than I do Russian, though. You should hear when John tries to repeat what the eBay reps say to him. Wow.
That's
I will
epic.
never do that on this channel.
Epic.
I am not that guy. He sounded like tech support from India. No, that's not an Indian accent. I'm pretty good at accents, but I'll get kicked off of YouTube. Well, not the Russian one. That was more Ukrainian. That was more Ukrainian than
together.
That was more Ukrainian than Russian.
Comes out.
Eddie says, I switched to using eBay's suggested ad rate instead of flat 5%. I'm seeing more sales now.
Yes.
I'm convinced that whenever eBay suggests or they tell you should do something, chances are it's a pretty good idea. There's a reason why they're telling you to do that. That's just me. That's why I like to go through my summary and do the things that they ask you to do every day. John, you're peaking G's.
Pekingese.
Okay. Needs a little work. It sounded more like Chinese. Oh, wow.
In Delaware, well, all Walmarts are dollar stores.
Tommy's on top of the dollar clearance at Walmart, so
we don't have that here in Las Vegas. They don't.
I guess that's in Delaware.
Yeah, they don't.
Well, that explains it. I'm not going to go any further than that. You get laptops left around at places in Delaware. That's all I'll say on that. Tommy says $10, 10 pair per box, 5 boxes per shell. So 10. So you have these in each individually box. All these shoes that I have, there's no box. 5 boxes per shell, 5 shells per rack.
Well, we have 5.
Wait. 10 pair per box. Okay. Again, I need to see it.
He said the size of the box in there.
I know, but I need to see it. I just can't visualize.
He's a visualizer.
Are there any teeth inside of those mystery boxes? There might be.
Who knows?
You are not going to buy anything online that everyone in the world can't do the same. Everyone has Google. Yes, I agree. I agree. Well, guys, we are an hour and 7 minutes in, and unless you guys have any last minute questions, I've caught up to you guys at this point.
I know. Is that a shocker?
I think my bad Russian accent totally killed it, and
everybody left. They said,
like, "What the hell?"
Oh my god!
Well, we got 90 people. Usually we get it up around 100. So I don't know. Maybe that was just the topic we're discussing today. And then anytime Picker says, Tommy buys boxes from Supply Hut. Those can fit 10 pairs. You should read my first message story. I don't know where that is. That's way up there, isn't it? Like to, if I could find it.
Slow down. How can you?
I'm looking for the logo. That's how I can tell what it is, because I don't want to waste a whole lot of time. Well, I'm still want to know who Kano is. Kaneo.
Hold on.
Sounds like a boxer.
Or in your other words, your neighbor.
That sounds like a Canelo. That's Canelo. Okay. Tommy says, I tried to IG you, but can't figure out which foreigner you are. I'm the one with the bad accent. Morty the one says, hello, John and Jenna. Sales have been great for November, December for me. Just being thankful. Thank you for everything this year. Yeah, you got to be thankful for what you have. It can always get better. Yeah. Biscuit butt thumbs down on the accent. Are you one of the ones that thumbs down all my videos? Because right now I'm sure I got a lot of thumbs down. There's a lot of haters that hate my presence on YouTube, but I'm sure I get the same people that jump on here and thumbs me down. Thumb sideways for the effort. I mean, I guess I could have not made the effort.
Egypt.
Egypt? Okay, that's Egypt.
No. That's not right.
That's not right.
That's not right.
That's not right. So yeah, Canaro.
See, where?
I don't know.
What's the spelling again?
I'm confused. I don't know. It's not there. I'm looking for.
You're making my eyes hurt.
Caneo.
Canair. Is there an R? No. Caneo.
Anybody know? It's one of those things that's bothering me now. Foreigner, the band.
China.
Okay. Okay. Did not know that.
It's a major carrier in,
it's out of
in
Hangzhou?
China. Yeah, Hangzhou.
Hangzhou. Okay. Well, guys, want to thank you for hanging out with us. We always enjoy our time with you guys, and we're about an hour and 10 in, so I guess I can get out and start listing some shoes and stuff. But in my mail carrier, we're actually talking like before the show. It's like, yeah, she's
right
gonna show
before
up.
The show.
And then I'm like, we'll see. And then here goes the doorbell. It was the backup person, but see, they didn't come yesterday at all. So it's just no consistency. You guys know that.
None.
I'm pretty bad about complaining about my carrier, but it is what it is. But let me just say this. When we're dealing with things that's out of our control, you have one of two options. Either stop selling on the site or just bite the bullet, accept it, and just move on. And this final value fee thing where eBay is charging you final value fees on taxes, it's here to stay. And they're providing a service. Just look at it like that, and maybe it won't bother you so much. But if you spend a lot of time being bothered, and some people might say, hey, you complain a lot on your channel. I have an opinion, and I'm going to report what I see. But this is one of those things where I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a service that eBay is providing, and the alternative would be a lot worse for the smaller seller out there. But yet it's just another example of how sometimes flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great start to your week, and we will talk
weekend.
I want them to have a good start of their week next week too. Oh. Yes, it is Friday, so I'm wrong. I want you guys to have a decent weekend, but I want you to have a better start to your week.
I want you to have a great weekend. Enjoy and keep selling.
And have a great one, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.